series for riding the Friday Long Beach State School record holder. 5259 has been 60 years in his life and will divide it up. And this is Peyton Ryan in the javelin. Watch yourself now.
Stop!
So who was that guy that just left? Solid goals and a solid start to the javelin, and we'll have a chance to further track next. The javelin overall leader, as you can see on the experience board, Mooney's first round did not approach his lifetime best of 71.45, but he could do it right now. Eyes on the javelin runway by round two. Here to go. Again, but taps it a little bit left, right, and he's into it into the javelin. As you can see, that neighborhood headwind is on display, but it is an equal opportunity. And left and right is equal measure. Taking headwind here at Hayward in the javelin. This ninth event of 10 in the triathlon. Brutal on the body and very rewarding to watch this spear fly on the runway. BYU. Going to be an improvement for Barton and now number 2. Looks like it has I got confused on the line. The line is 50, the second line is 60. And we have one athlete remaining in the javelin field, Colby and Dallas. Smith in his personal best round number 1 and has 2 more chances. We only in the field that have 2 more goes here in the javelin. He's on the runway ready for round number 2. Arkansas State Junior and Dallas. On that finish from Colby. 4.702, slight improvement for the three-time Sun Belt champ between the decathlon and the decathlon. We will see if we can build some more on those good first 2 throws. And here's the Diamond Honor is on the runway. Rather than produce on the Hanson to start round number 3. Hanson happy with his second effort that traveled 52.95. Likely retiring from the competition, getting some extra Needs to see the measurement of the final attempt of the javelin. Next athlete on the runway, James Ross, the number 3 BYU all-time decathlon scorer and winning the runway points this year. Ross will take javelin throw number 3. School record holder, and he is done with my defensive time. Taking time, one more shot at the javelin throw right now. This is his third straight time at the NCAA Outdoor Championship. He will run around 1,500 meters to finish it off. 9 events done, 1 event to go for taking time. So Brad Thomas has 1 more row. He's built through this series, but he's not for his third round, and he wants your help. Here we go. 1 more time during the javelin for Brad Thomas.
Go!
So far today, out to 69 before, and it looks to be better, but Bill did pass Grayson Richards from point 1 of 61.32, and he does 6.347. Very solid effort for Brad Thomas, as you see that the senior gets it done in round number 3. 3 athletes remaining. Our best javelin thrower in this field will be up next. Third and final attempt for Josh Moody, well shy of his PB so far today, but building throughout his series. What does he have at round number 3? Not quite what the 70-meter thrower wants to see, but his pole vault today was phenomenal. Has him in good position in the overall standings, and he will keep building throughout his year. Mooney, just a sophomore from UConn. Massive javelin PB for a athlete at 71.45. We'll be back for more in his future with the Ducks. These 2 more javelin throwers. First, BYU Cougar Jr. Ben Barton. Ben Barton's best javelin throw earns him 615 points. Barton and Ross Taylor supporting each other through this decathlon. So many things can go right, and so many things can be frustrating here across 10 events in 2 days. Colby Dow's last javelin throw of this decathlon. He is on the runway. Consistency is the name of the game across 10 whole events, 2 short days. For these men, they have now finished 9 of those events. Looking to run the 1500 later. Just always a huge effort for the athletes to get the job done. We've lost 5 of the course on the first 9 events. 19 men remain. We will see how many run the 1500 later this afternoon. More field and action to come with hammer lightning concluded. Now we're ready to get on out there and cheer for the last of the pros.
school's first women's outdoor national championship. But the Texas A&M Aggies and the women of Troy see an opportunity to stand atop the podium as well. And when in Oregon, do not discount the Ducks, the home team, the indoor national champs. In a place synonymous with the sport, the elite of college track and field are here, peaked, and ready. The biggest college meet of them all going down in TrackTown, USA. Let's start it up.
Next event on the track, 2 semifinal heats of the 1500. Jenny Behringer and Huff Simpson, the only collegian to ever break 4 minutes, has a record. And there is Silan Ildiz, the junior from Oregon. She should get a lot of support from the crowd here at Hayward Field.
Holds 3 collegiate records in the indoor mile, the indoor 1500, also the distance medley relay. Also, this year won 3 Big Ten titles, including cross country and the indoor-outdoor 5,000.
First 5 finishers across the finish line automatically qualifying through to Saturday's final. And then the next 2 fastest times that were not automatic qualifiers. They're looking to cut the field in half. They start with 24. They're trying to get it down to 12 for Saturday.
And these fields in the 1500 are just so deep. I talked with Silan Ildiz's coach, Shalane Flanagan, and she told all of her women who are in these prelims in the 1500 that today is really harder than the final. The field is just so crazy good, and there's such a high caliber of talent right now in the NCAA. That is Kimberly May from Providence up front. Certainly no stranger to championship racing scenarios. The top returner from last year's NCAA 1500 meter final, where she was the runner-up to Harvard's Maya Ramsden. Also, Maggie Congdon is as tough as they come, running for NIU. She's been in this field before. She was 3rd at the NCAA Indoors in the mile earlier this year. Just last year, she was 9th in this event. Went on a couple weeks later following the NCAA Outdoor Championships to run 4:02.79 at the Olympic trials here at Hayward Field.
70.5 for the first 400 meters, a little on the slow side, which is why we see this field of 12 bunched up and forcing some athletes into lane number 2.
And you would think that some of these athletes would have learned from what we saw yesterday in the men's 1500 semifinals, is when those went very pedestrian and very conservative, some of the favorites were left out of that final because it became so much of a sit and kick race. You can see also a little traffic developing there with a couple of the BYU athletes. Pointing out as well from South Carolina, they're in the top 4. That is the SEC champion, Salma El-Badra.
Silan Ildiz looks to have built herself a little bit of a box. She's formerly South Carolina, now Oregon. And with this pace, anything can happen. And you always worry when there's this bunching up that somebody catches a spike or somebody trips a heel, and you see a lot of people go down.
And that's an area where you have seen Silan really develop over the last year as they go through in 71 seconds on that 400. It's just refining and developing her race skill set. Shalane Flanagan said she watches more film with Silan than anyone else. She's really practiced herself in staying collected and calm in race situations. She had a fantastic finish here at Hayward Field at the Big Ten meet in the 5,000 meters to win that conference title. Margot Appleton, you can see making the move from Virginia. She's got that blue top, orange bottoms on the outside of lane 2.
Well, Ildiz has some work to do. She's now going to try the rail, which is always a little bit dicey. As they're coming up to the bell, half the field in lane 2. Now the real running begins. If she's lucky, she can work herself out of that box, which she does successfully. Remember, the top 5 finishers are automatically qualified through to Saturday's final.
Really shifty move from Silan Ildiz as they go through in 64.5. Riley Chamberlain in full charge on the outside of BYU.
Kimberly May has led from the front with Congdon, Maggie Congdon right there from NAU. For Virginia, that's Margot Appleton, also out of trouble, out into lane 2. But there's 7 or 8 athletes that are in contention for those 5 automatic spots. Aldis goes wide, and now in full sprint. Congdon is going to win the heat. Aldis is safely through as part of the top 5, as is May. So disaster avoided.
59.8 last 400 from Maggie Congdon. She has fantastic 800-meter speed. She showcased that right there. And I thought really expertly navigated that field. I don't think if you go back and she's going to watch that with Coach Mike Smith, you would have much to tell her that she should have done any differently, because she was comfortable to set, get pulled along in the pack, and then well navigated through that traffic.
So you can see Aldis, they're in on the rail and pushing to make some space for herself to move out, which she did successfully, but a lot of pushing and shoving.
Meanwhile, Maggie Congdon eludes every bit of it by being on the outside of Kimberly May, and even as she shifts into that full sprint, still looks incredibly effortless with that great turnover, that speed she has. Shalon Aldis, you can see how she stretches out on that stride to get into her kick. Maggie Congdon has solidified herself certainly as one of those to watch going into Saturday's final. Not only because of how fast she's run this season, but just because of how sharp tactically she navigated in qualifying.
So you see those top 5 who have all automatically qualified. Riley Chamberlain and Carly Hansen, both at BYU. Have to wait to see if those times are going to hold up as time qualifiers. It's a big advantage for the second heat. They know that the first 800 meters went out slowly. They can make a decision not to make the same mistake and maybe pull the time qualifiers through here in this second semifinal, which we are about to run. Shannon Flockhart of Providence is part of this field. She'll be in position number 10.
And when you talk about likely seeing this second heat go a little bit quicker, keep in mind that in last year's semifinal, Shannon Flockhart ran 4:05.99 in qualifying. So nearly broke the meet record in the prelim.
She was 6th at this meet last year, hoping to improve on that. The senior from Great Britain.
She's run 4:04.97 for the 5th all-time mark, has Shannon Flockhart. Also, Sophie O'Sullivan of Washington, the Big Ten Outdoor 1,500-meter champ, also a Paris Olympian. She did not compete indoors this year. She was actually over in Australia. She spent the winter quarter training in Australia, had about 12 weeks over there, came back for the outdoor season.
Sophie with a pretty famous mother, Sonia O'Sullivan, who is an outstanding runner for Villanova and for Ireland. It's the same configuration, 12 athletes. The first 5 across the finish line will automatically qualify through to Saturday's final. And then the next 2 on time. The bubble is 4:12.35.
Oregon with 2 in that top 4 right now. Easy to identify the green uniform there. Also a number of Washington athletes in there alongside Sophie O'Sullivan. You have her teammate Chloe Forrester as well. And in talking about Claudia Kazmierska, she has the best career lifetime best of anyone in the field. She's gone sub 4 minutes for 1,500. And in talking with Shalane Flanagan, she says when you become an Olympian, there is a bit of responsibility or weight that you carry with that. So something that they have done this year is really just building up a lot of confidence in some of the other distances, running quite a few 800s so that she can sharpen up some of her speed and not have to carry a bit of that expectation that might come in the event that you competed in at the Olympic Games.
67.9 the first 400, nearly 3 seconds faster than the first semifinal. Sophie O'Sullivan continues to set the pace with her teammate Chloe Forrester right next to her on her shoulder. And it appears the pace is slowed. from that early opening pace. Field is bunching up ever so slightly.
And Sophie O'Sullivan showcased a phenomenal kick at the Big Ten Championship. She actually closed that 1500 in 58 seconds. Great comfortability for O'Sullivan up front, having Forrester in tow. Kazmierska looking very relaxed right now. Right now, her training has her set to have a peak here for the NCAA championships, but then also another as she eyes the World Championships coming up. Shalane Flanagan said she's getting really close to the fitness level that she showcased going into last year's Olympic Games as they go through, slowed things down significantly, 72 seconds, and you can see Kazmierska starting to creep up in lane 2. They're going really wide at this point. That's Lindsey Butler of Virginia Tech, who's nearly out into lane 3. Butler, an indoor national champion.
Running wide to stay out of trouble, but running extra distance in order to do so.
Mia Barnett doing a great job as well of putting herself up there in that top 4.
There goes Kazmierska. At the belt, Kazmierska, O'Sullivan, and Butler. Forrester is also there, along with Sylvia Jalelgo of Clemson. But plenty of athletes still in the mix for those 5 automatic qualifying spots.
That's Judy Rono from New Mexico, also trying to find her way up into the front, but she is so far on the outside, running a lot of extra distance. You can see Kazmierska is digging.
Kazmierska, O'Sullivan, Barnett, Butler, and Mina Scathard there with the number 1 on her hip. Here they come in the final stretch. O'Sullivan back into the lead. Kazmierska and Barnett for the Ducks. Butler has a good head of steam. And Scatchard, those are your 5. Those are the automatic qualifiers out of Heat 2, and this is a faster heat than Heat 1, so the time qualifiers will come out of this semifinal.
Sophie O'Sullivan was so chill even as she was in that full sprint. She was smiling across the finish line. 60.2, that closing 400 from Sophie O'Sullivan. She spent that time early kind of establishing that pace. Had to push her way through to the outside, tried to make some real estate there alongside Lindsey Butler and fight her way to get onto the shoulder of Claudia Kazmierska. Kazmierska has that great turnover, using the upper body. Sophie O'Sullivan uses that bit of the slingshot there off the final turn to project herself to the outside of lane 1. Digging in, look, smiling as she knows she's got it. The Ducks happy to let her take it, knowing that they are securely on and into the final. Lindsey Butler showcasing great 800-meter finishing speed there as well.
It's always good to know you're in the final. There are the advancers to final, 12 athletes. The Ducks have 3, so a lot of point potential for Oregon in this 1500 on Saturday. So the 1500s are done. Next on the track, it'll be 2 semifinal heats of the steeplechase featuring Doris Lemon-Goulet, the collegiate record holder.
Mom, look what I can do.
No, Mom. Look what I can do. Ta-da! Toasted roast beef and cheddar from Jimmy John's. Warm French bread, melted cheese. Speaking of toasted, hey pal, looking crispy. Toasted sandwiches at Jimmy John's. Oh, that's good.
Not getting the results you expect? Don't use AI trained on any old data when you can use AI trained on your data. IBM.
You know what they say about summer. The days are longer, the nights are warmer, and the lemonades are perfectly balanced with sweetness, tartness, and a delicious cold foam on top. What? Just me? Try our Sweet Top lemonades in 3 delicious flavors. Live free, eat side.
This is Formula One. It's lights out and away we go. The season continues in Canada, Sunday on ABC, the exclusive home of F1.
Back in Eugene, Oregon, the next event on the track, 2 semifinal heats of the steeplechase. And Doris Lemon-Goulet owns this event at the collegiate level. Collegiate record holder, meet record holder, and defending champion.
She's won 3 national titles, all within the last 12 months, in addition to that steeplechase title last year. She also won the cross-country national championship in the fall, and then the 5,000 at the NCAA indoor meet back in March. She has just dominated the steeplechase since last outdoor season. She broke the collegiate record last year, then bettered her own collegiate record this year. Talking to her coach, Nick Stenoff, he said, today is just about checking the box. You just got to be sure that you're clear, avoid any trouble, and get on into the final. Also worth noting, Dwight, she already has hit that World Championship qualifying standard. So when we're talking about implications and athletes to follow through the remainder of the summer track and field season, certainly she is one of those to have your eyes on.
Carrie Balaga of Northern Arizona also in this heat.
Coming off
8th at this event last year.
And coming off a PR at the West Regional, 9:40.13, so showing fine fitness coming into championship season.
And for just a moment there, we saw Taylor Lovell, the sophomore from BYU, who was 9th in this event last year. So just like the 1500, 2 groups of 12. First 5 across the finish line automatically qualify to Saturday's final. They're looking for a 12-runner final. And across the board on the track and in the field, that's how individuals and teams got here. There were 2 first-round events, one in Jacksonville, Florida, one in College Station, Texas. And the best 12 athletes from each of those 2 regionals are here at the national championships. This is the semifinal day, and finals for the women are on Saturday.
And no surprise that you're seeing this pace going to lag and be very conservative early on, because it's not too often that you're going to run, 2 steeplechase events over the course of 2 days. So you want to make this qualifying round as easy as you possibly can, as you see Lemon-Goulet navigates that first hurdle. The mantra this past year for Doris Lemon-Goulet has been, from Nick Stenoff, just go be Doris. She had told him last year indoors, just don't hold me back. Let me go. Let me do what I love to do, because he had been kind of tactical, pulling the reins a little bit so she didn't get too far ahead of herself, but really has cut her loose going back to last outdoor season. She's really at a fitness level that she's never been before. And even as well as we saw her run at the indoor meet, She gets into her element outdoors, as you see. Take a look at how she navigates the water jump here. Really quick, barely even gets a splash there. It almost clears the pit going over it. And one of the ways that they've kind of gained fitness is really running some challenging workouts even ahead of the SEC meet to try to replicate a bit of the format that you have to navigate coming into the NCAA championship season. So that has given her a little bit of confidence in terms of having to run multiple races in multiple days, something she did, of course, the NCAA indoor championships, which that was the closest finish we've seen her have to fight through in terms of the indoor 3,000 and indoor 5,000 races just a few months ago.
All right, so we're underway in the steeplechase, and Doris is fronting in lane 2 and seems to be having a wonderful time. We'll step aside for a moment and come back with the conclusion of this first steeplechase semifinal.
The Bush Guide, cold and smooth survival skills.
My watch is broken.
You could tell time by measuring the sun's distance from the horizon. Looks like happy hour. Head for the mountains.
Good mornings start with the goodness of Cheerios, and try Cheerios Protein.
Dedication isn't born in the light of day. It's carved in the quiet hours before the world blinks awake. At Boar's Head, we rise with a mission to deliver craftsmanship worthy of your table. A slice of something special folded into every moment worth savoring. A promise kept with every new day. Boar's Head, committed to craft since 1905.
Don't see that every day.
Or ever.
If we get this DNA, millions of lives are saved.
Let's go.
We already found it? No. It found us.
Jurassic World, rated PG-13.
I told myself I was okay with my moderate to severe rheumatoid arthritis symptoms.
With my psoriatic arthritis symptoms. But just okay isn't okay.
And I was done settling.
If you still have symptoms after trying Humira, Rinvoq works differently. Rinvoq is a once-daily pill from the makers of Humira that can rapidly relieve joint pain, stiffness, and swelling as fast as 2 weeks for some. And even at the 3-year mark, many people felt this relief. Rinvoq can stop joint damage, and in PSA, can leave skin clear or almost clear.
Rinvoq can lower ability to fight infections. Before treatment, test for TB and do blood work. Serious infections, blood clots, some fatal. Cancers including lymphoma and skin, serious allergic reactions, GI tears, death, heart attack, and stroke occurred. CV event risk increases in age 50 plus with a heart disease risk factor. Tell your doctor if you've had these events, infection, Hep B or C, smoked, are pregnant, or planning. Don't take if allergic or have an infection.
Ask your rheumatologist if switching to Rinvoq is right for you.
And take back what's yours.
If you struggle and struggle and struggle with CPAP, you should check out Inspire. No mask, no hose, just sleep. Learn more and view important safety information at inspiresleep.com.
Tonight, in your spacious La Quinta suite, your eyes could use a break. After a long day of seeing, things. But hey, free waffles always make you forget. Tonight, La Quinta. Tomorrow, you shine.
Back in Eugene, Oregon, more of our coverage of the 2025 NCAA Track and Field Championships. It's ladies semifinal day, and we are in the first semifinal of the 3,000 meter steeplechase. 3 laps remaining. This is Doris Lemon-Goulet, the collegiate record holder, the defending champion, the meet record holder, well out in front now. She just really put on a surge in this last lap or so, and she's run much of the race in lane number 2, and Laura, you know why.
Well, yeah, and she just had a 73-second last 400. They're on about 9:29 pace, which would be the fastest qualifying time that we have ever seen at the NCAA Championship, even faster than Courtney Wayman. As Doris comes up on the water jump, you're going to be able to see she's going to swing pretty wide going into the water jump, and that is tactical. That's at the advice of her coach, Nick Stenoff, because of how sharp that turn is. She's going to go wide to the right side of the barrier. So although it looks like she's running extra distance, it's really the most gradual way to come off the turn and take that water barrier. And she's such a rhythm-based steepler. She wants to be sure to avoid anything that is going to break that cadence that she has established, because she's been out there up front all on her own. And you know, last year, Doris Lemon-Golay broke the collegiate record, but was still so much running on a lot of her raw talent, but really takes critiques and feedback well when she ran that collegiate record earlier this year, 9:10:13. She even looked back at that and said, where can I be better? Let me see the areas of which I could have run even faster, or maybe just executed a smarter race plan. Right on that 9:30 pace. Carrie Beloga has done a great job of positioning herself in that median area, well ahead of the chase pack. So she could be somewhere around her personal best. Beloga coming in having run 9:40 just 2 weeks ago.
Beloga in second place. Actually, quite a good technical runner. She takes the barriers in the water jump very well. Just to remind everybody, the first 5 finishers in these 2 semifinal heats automatically qualify through to Saturday's final, and then the next 2 fastest timers over the 2 heats as Doris Lemon-Golay comes up to the bell lap with about a 50-meter lead, well within herself.
74 yet again for that 400, and you often see athletes tend to struggle on the latter part of the steeplechase. Doris Lemon-Golay almost looks better over the second half of the race even than the first half. It's no surprise when you see her dominance. She feels capable of running a 9-flat steeplechase by the end of the summer.
That would put her in contention for a medal at the World Championships in Tokyo later in the summer. So over the water jump for the final time in this semifinal.
You can see again going to the very wide right side, and she just bounds so quickly out of the water as well. When you see the projection that she gets, she's very swift, very efficient out of the water. Be interesting to see how things shake out behind her in terms of qualifying.
She's going to be sub 9:30 in this semifinal, fastest semifinal in this event ever run for collegiate record holder and defending champion Doris Lemon-Golay of Alabama. Carrie Beloga, who has been second most of the time in that pack of 4. Those are the automatic qualifiers, that group of 4, plus Doris constitutes the 5 automatic qualifiers through to Saturday's final. So a lot of lifetime bests in that semifinal, including Carrie Beloga.
And Doris Lemon-Golay, just, you can see how relaxed and how comfortable that effort was from her. This is where she's gotten just so much stronger over the last year, just in how she navigates the barriers. That cross-country strength has translated well for her through the indoor and into the outdoor season.
There are the official results. The first 5 automatically qualify through, and 6th and 7th place have to hope that those times will hold up as time qualifiers through to Saturday's final. And Laura, you will like this. We'll have game 4 of the NBA Finals tomorrow night at 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific on ABC, ESPN Deportes, and ESPN Radio with your Pacers up 2 games to 1. Coverage tips
Yes,
with NBA
sirs.
Countdown at 8. 22 athletes are gathered on the starting line on that back stretch. Lexi Halliday-Lowry, the senior from BYU, number 5 all-time on the collegiate list in this event.
Also number 3 all-time on the collegiate list in the 5,000 meters. She advanced to the U.S. Olympic trials in the steeplechase last year, taking 9th. The senior, a 5-time NCAA scorer on the track. Also a big part of BYU's national championship cross-country team. Hey, speaking of national championship, cross-country teams, NC State among that. Angelina Napoleon, who you just saw, the ACC steeplechase champion, making her 2nd NCAA outdoor appearance.
And some team implications in position number 11, Deborah Chirono, the freshman from Texas A&M. 3rd in the steeple at the conference meet in Kentucky a month ago. Pat Henry looking for some potential points. Every point matters in this national championship title race. The wind seems to have calmed a bit since when we first came on the air. It's about 73 degrees here in Eugene. With no rain in the forecast.
Have some events going on in the infield as well. Not sure if that's related at all to holding the start of this race.
While we have a second, and they are getting themselves together to start this race. Let's take a look at the Capital One Cup standings as teams compete for a combined $500,000 in student athlete scholarships from Capital One. This encompasses all the sports, all 90 sports in the NCAA, and you can see that Ohio State on the men's side has a healthy lead over Penn State and Florida. Things a little bit tighter between North Carolina and Stanford, but they are way ahead of 3rd and 4th place Northwestern and Penn State in the Capital One Cup standings, with the collegiate athletics season coming to a close.
And Dwight, I was able to observe here that they're cleaning up something on the track not too far past the finish line, near where the barrier is out in lane 4. So they're tending to an issue on the track before they are cleared to start this race. Have a couple of the facilities grounds crew here addressing that, and it looks like all of that has been addressed. Getting the white flag over here just below our booth position.
So I'm sure these 12 athletes anxious to get things started. They've been out there for a while now. Again, it's not cold by any stretch of the imagination. Probably pretty close to ideal conditions, considering they'll be going over the water jump 7 times. They bypass it the first time, as well as not having to navigate that first barrier that comes up right after the turn meets the straight. That barrier will be rolled in position once the field clears.
Lexi Halliday-Lowry, one of 7 BYU distance runners that Diljeet Taylor has brought here to Eugene. She really comes from the great strength base with both 5K and steeple prowess, and has this ability to grind when it gets really hard in races. So you look to her to be one of those who will likely push the pace just a little bit with this field.
By the way, the bubble time 9:52.08. That was a 7th place time in the first semifinal. So if you are not in the top 5, you want to be faster than 9:52.08 if you want to qualify through to Saturday's final.
NC State's Angelina Napoleon doing a great job of positioning herself up front alongside Lexi Halliday-Lowry as they prepare to go over that first water jump.
9:54.53 to get into the final last year. So the 12-runner field is nicely stretched out. So we will step aside. And when we return, we will bring you the conclusion of the second semifinal in the steeplechase.
While they munch on Popeye's Crunch, Dante dreams away, missing out on all these new Louisiana flavor-rated wraps. Don't be like Dante.
Love that chicken from Popeyes.
Maybelline, New York, Sky High Mascara. Our brave cadets
Buckle up.
will go to limitless lengths as they launch lashes sky high. Maybelline, New York.
Wherever they take you. With over 30 hotel brands, Marriott Bonvoy has a brand for every kind of fan.
Welcome to the show.
Buckle up. It's about to get loud here.
The one with unimaginable power. Wow. Unreal stuff.
How good is this guy?
And endless entertainment.
Unbelievable.
Where young trailblazers bring big speed, big swag, and big personalities.
My God.
Welcome to MLB's Best.
Giants, Dodgers. Join us on Father's Day for a West Coast rivalry on Sunday Night Baseball.
The PFL World Tournament rolls on tonight in Nashville with the welterweight and featherweight semifinals. Our main card is at 11 Eastern, 8 Pacific on ESPN, ESPN Plus, and ESPN Deportes. Following our coverage right here at the NCAA Championships. All right, back to the second semifinal in the steeplechase. Less than 4 laps remaining now. And there's a group of 6 plus 1 probably up front. Not much has changed in terms of leading. Still Angelina Napoleon and Lexi Halliday-Lowry up front. Deborah Chirono of Texas A&M is in that mix of automatic qualifiers. The top 5 finishers qualifying through to the final on Saturday.
Angelina Napoleon really strong over that water barrier right there. And in talking to her coach, Lori Hennes, she said that Angelina really scratched her way into the NCAA championships as a freshman and was kind of happy to be here. Now she has experience and understands that she has a chance to do really well at this championship. Coach Hennes has talked to her about not making any race different than the other, just approaching this race as you would anything else. Lexi Halliday-Lowry is in great shape. She's looked incredibly relaxed this entire time. Also, up in the mix, you have from Washington, that is Maggie Liebig. Dwight, she just started steepling, like ran her first steeple about a month ago. Her first real steeplechase competition was at the Big Ten Championship, where she finished second. I asked Washington coach Marisa Powell what has given her the ability to do it. She said, well, she's a good athlete, but she's also just not afraid. So here she is among the top 4 in the NCAA final. Or prelim, I should say, excuse me.
I was remarking that the technique over the water jump and the barriers has improved greatly over the last several seasons amongst the women. Hence the times slowly but surely coming down. And that's a big part of it. It's a very technical race. Aside from the fact that you've got to have good endurance and some leg speed, you also have to navigate these barriers, which do not go over like regular hurdles do, and that water jump.
And part of that comes from just having better racing opportunities to contest this event.
Well, it's been part of the NCAA program for about 20 years now, and the U.S. has had medalists at the World Championship and Olympic level in this event on the women's side. So you have a breakaway group of 5. Those are your automatic qualifiers if they were to finish this way. And they've got a little more than a lap and a half left in this semifinal to do that.
About 9:34 pace right now. Slowed down just a little bit. I was expecting now, as they get into this part of the race, you'll see some acceleration coming out of the next water barrier. Napoleon and Halliday Lowry have well separated themselves, have this chase pack of 3. That's Liebig, Tate, and Chirono.
Remember, the bubble time is 9:52.08. So the 6th and 7th place runners right now need to try and stay as close in contact as they possibly can, because they're going to be running times very close to that bubble. As they get to Bell, continues to be Lexi Halliday Lowry and Angelina Napoleon, who, by the way, has pretty much had a smile on her face the entire semifinal. Seems to be having a good time out there.
One of the big influences for Lexi Halliday Lowry has been Courtney Wayment, who continues to train with Coach Diljeet Taylor with the pro group in Provo. And Courtney Wayment has been such a good example for Lexi of what it takes to be great in this event and make it at the next level. So she's bringing in a ton of confidence, having kind of that example and a bit of that blueprint to follow. Chirono looks like she's going to try to make a move here going over the water jump. These two have been content to be shoulder to shoulder for about the last 6 laps.
So coming down the finishing straight, it's still Lexi Halliday Lowry and Angelina Napoleon. 1-2. Here comes Deborah Chirono. She moves into 3rd. That's Sarah Tate of West Virginia and Great Britain in 4th. And then Maggie Liebig of Washington. Those are your top 5. Those are your automatic qualifiers. And then 6th and 7th need to finish under 9:52.08 if they want to advance to Saturday's final.
You talked about Angelina Napoleon looking like she had a smile on her face nearly the entire time. She's embracing about every single competitor as they come across the line. Again, last year, just happy to kind of be here at the NCAA championships, and now has proven that she belongs and has the opportunity to do something special for the Wolfpack program.
Both the time qualifiers came from this semifinal.
Both athletes running really smart and efficient races. You can see Napoleon looking around just a little bit to ensure that no one's going to sneak up alongside herself and Lexi Halliday Lowry. Now, what's going to be interesting is how bold anyone is in the final if they're going to try to take the charge, go up front, and force the pace of Doris Lemon-Golay.
There are the final results. Deborah Chirono of Texas A&M gets a lifetime best. They're in 4th place, automatically qualifies through the final. That would be points for the Aggies.
Go back.
So different kind of hurdles getting ready to be set up on the track. The 100-meter hurdles on the straightaway are going up as we speak. We will see 3 semifinals in that 100-meter hurdles when we return to Eugene.
Mom!
When this happens, they count on you.
Like an entire tree fell down onto my car.
Are you okay?
Don't stress, sweetie.
You got USAA.
And you can count on us.
They got you.
Okay, I just submitted it.